Earlier this year, I ate nothing but Taco Bell for 30 days straight. And I'm not talking just a meal a day, I'm talking 3 meals a day for a total of 90 meals. Shortly afterwards, they shut down my local Taco Bell. I'm just kidding, it was unrelated. They're renovating. I documented the whole thing in a 30-minute documentary that you can find on my channel, but today I'm gonna tell you the best and worst parts of eating nothing but Taco Bell. I'll start with the best parts. So the first one I would say is variety. Despite getting a bad rap for being just like 50 different combinations of tortillas and meat and cheese, I really appreciated being able to customize different menu items, swap in different meats and toppings and sauces, virtually endless options to try. I also really appreciated getting to know the employees at my local Taco Bell. So when I did the experiment, there were like 14 people working here, and so I got to know the vast majority of them because I was just here 3 times a day. So shout out to Crystal and Anthony and Antoine and Conan and everybody else that helped make this experiment possible. Another one of the best parts was that I tried the entire menu over the course of my experiment. It only took me 8 days, but it meant that I got to try some items that I probably wouldn't have otherwise ordered if I was just going at my normal frequency. That also meant discovering some new favorites. Looking at you, Fiesta Veggie Burrito. This might be obvious, but another perk was just getting to eat Taco Bell whenever I wanted. Cheesy Gordita Crunches, Baja Blast, Cinnabon Delights. And as you can tell, I am still standing upright, so I won't spoil the documentary for you, but I'll just say that it's not as bad as you might think. I think the results might surprise you. Another one of the best parts was getting to connect with this very niche Taco Bell social media fandom, which is incredible. I got to go on a podcast with the guys from the Cheesy Gordita Bunch. I connected with Yokiro Taco Ballads, Blake from Always Living Moss. Literally too many people to name, but everybody for the most part was super supportive. They're really cool. You should go follow their accounts if you're a fan of Taco Bell. On that note, Taco Bell itself was actually really cool about the whole thing. I kind of expected them to keep me at arm's length or ignore me entirely because understandably, like if my health deteriorated, that could be kind of a PR nightmare for them. But they ended up reaching out and said that they enjoyed the documentary. So if that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is. All right, now for the worst parts. I mentioned that variety was one of the best parts, but it was also one of the worst parts, specifically when it came to the breakfast menu. So I don't blame Taco Bell for this, but I did finish the entire breakfast menu by like day 3. So I started to introduce some lunch items to my breakfast rotation just to keep things new and exciting. Like the cheesy Fiesta potatoes, those make a great breakfast item if you just modify them a little bit. I would say in general, would love to see some more potassium, some more vitamin C, things like that on the menu. All right, and probably the moment you've all been waiting for, the poops. Everybody had jokes about the poops.
Taco Bell for 30 days. Here's a prediction. By day 2, it's going to be a nightmare south of the border.
One listener yesterday who said that if you do keep this up for 30 days, you're going to, as he put it, poop like a goose.
Here's the thing, the poops actually weren't that bad. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but for me, the X factor was just kind of going light on the hot sauce. Whenever I skipped the hot sauce, my bowel movements were generally pretty regular. I will say I did experience a ton of gas when I was eating exclusively vegan and vegetarian items, but according to the internet, that's something that is common for people starting out eating vegan and vegetarian and not something that would be specific to Taco Bell. Another one of the worst parts was that I announced my project far ahead of time, which was great in that it generated some publicity and helped me fund my Kickstarter, but it also invited a ton of quote-unquote experts to weigh in and kind of criticize the experiment. There was this one guy who literally like crafted this string of 5 tweets just absolutely trashing me as like a person. He said straight clown emoji, poop emoji. I feel bad for the people who's gonna fall for it and the people who donated to this stupidity. He did call me metabolically healthy though, so thank you. On the one hand, it's like, dude, do your wife and kids know that you bully people 15 years younger than you on the internet? And on the other hand, it's like, come on, it's for fun.
It's for fun.
I specifically mention in the documentary, and I'll say it again right now, but I don't recommend that anybody try this. Like, it's not like the Jared Fogle losing weight experiment. It was just purely for my own curiosity. Okay, another one of the worst parts is that your car will start to smell really bad if you don't empty out the Taco Bell bags for several weeks. So that is very specific to my situation and completely my own fault. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're eating nothing but fast food, I would recommend cleaning out your car at least once a week. Health-wise, I go into a lot more depth in the documentary if you want to check that out, but in general, I would say that I experienced some tiredness that I wasn't really expecting, and then my sodium intake was just higher than, doctors recommend that it should be. So by the end, I was able to figure out what the lowest sodium options were and kind of mitigate that by also upping my potassium intake. And as I've mentioned before, Taco Bell is working on reducing sodium across their menu while maintaining their taste. So that is great news for people like you and me. Another tough part, and I think this is just a problem across the country right now, but at this Taco Bell and every other Taco Bell that I visited, they were pretty understaffed. So sometimes that meant that the dining room was closed, you couldn't eat inside. Other times it meant that the wait times in the drive-thru were a little bit longer. So I just tried to show them a little extra grace and patience when that happened because A, they were incredibly kind to me and helped me do this experiment, and B, I knew that it wasn't their fault that there were only like 2 people on the shift that night. So all in all, these guys were champs, but I hope that improves in the future. And if I haven't mentioned this before, the point of my experiment was to see if I could actually become healthier while eating nothing but Taco Bell, because Taco Bell has been named as one of the healthiest fast food restaurants. So if you're interested in seeing the results of that experiment, the effect that it had on my body, you can watch the full video right here. And if you want to hear my menu recommendations, you can check those out right here. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.